hello everyone. I'm back with Jessica Lovich, and this video is going to be how to study for animal science classes, or really, I guess, classes in general. So, Jess, what is the best study life hack you have?
Okay, I would say definitely start early. As soon as you learn new material, if you can, go home, kind of review it, do homework if they give you suggested problems. That's great. Always reinforce the learning. I know for me, if I make note cards, especially if I color code it, it just helps me review it and it helps me remember it. So I would say definitely start early with your studying. And if you have any questions, reach out to your professor, reach out to other students. They're always willing to help you, especially if you make that extra effort. Send them an email, go their office hours. I think that definitely helps when you're doing the study process.
That's good. So when do you usually start studying for an exam?
I would say I usually try to give myself at least a week. Like I said, if you have homework problems, as you do the homework problems, if they're due on a certain date, or even if they're just suggested, if you do them, it helps to reinforce, every idea that they're trying to get you to learn. But I'll usually start about a week in advance, and I'll just, start reviewing the material. Like if it's lecture slides, just review the lecture, highlight stuff that I'm not sure of, or write it down, maybe even ask my professor or my recitation instructor, or just ask a friend, say, hey, I'm confused about this certain idea, like, is there anything, did you understand what they were talking about in class? And then bounce ideas off of each other and try to figure it out. So definitely allow enough time. Certain classes, once you go through the class, you'll kind of learn and adapt your studying methods to say, okay, well, there's, maybe if, this method didn't work, what can I do next time?
Right.
Also, I think it helps to learn what type of learner you are. So, like, I think I'm more of a visual learner. So, like I said, note cards with color coded, it really helps me remember.
Pictures?
Yes, pictures.
Yep.
Draw it out. I love using a whiteboard with, different color markers, especially because, I make a mistake, you just erase it really quickly. I'm a big fan of whiteboards. But some people, they like to just review them, read the textbook. I for one, I'm not a huge fan of reading textbooks. Like I said, I love to just read the lecture slides. I think, that's what the professor usually wants to highlight. And then just, find whatever method works for you. Visual, maybe something with PowerPoint, writing it down, note cards, anything, talking with other people for classes that I've had with friends. I've actually spoke with them, gone over stuff, and like I said before, just reinforce those ideas, and you've actually found out, wow, I actually learned it, and I was talking, to someone about it. So it's pretty cool if you do it like that.
That's awesome. So would you say that studying is always a continual process?
Yes, I would say. You're always learning, whether, especially make sure you go to lecture. It's very important that you attend every lecture. Sometimes you'll have teachers that actually will say, what, for whoever's not here, or rather for whoever is here, this will be on the exam. And that's, they're really just helping you out. They're throwing you a bone, essentially. So make sure you take advantage of that. And also, it is your education. You want to be there. You want to hear what they're saying and learn the information. Exactly. You're there to learn.
On the very basis you're paying for it.
You're always learning, and every time you learn a concept in a class, even if it's not the final isn't tested on all the material you've learned, you're still using concepts that you've learned in the beginning, kind of growing throughout the semester. So it's continual.
That's awesome. So you already said you use whiteboards, you use note cards. Is there anything else you use to study?
I would say it's not so much that I use it, but I find that just studying in a quiet place helps. If you have, I don't know, your dorm room, your apartment room, I know, like, I live on Cook, so there's the PAL Lounge. You can go to a library, they have quiet areas. Definitely find an environment that works for you. So some people actually need music when they study, so I know some of my friends actually listen to, like, classical music. So find what works for you. If you need music, if you need a quiet area, if you need an area that doesn't have, laptop, Facebook, like, sometimes just close your laptop down. So some things, something might tempt you. So try to get rid of all the distracting factors so that you can really focus. Like, even I've actually found that if I delete some social media applications on my phone, that it really helps me focus. So, you gotta make the sacrifice, but it actually works out. You really find that, let's say you spend 3 hours studying, you'll find that you're really concentrated, you're really focused, and you got so much out of those 3 hours. Then if you study 5 hours and like every 30 minutes you're like checking Facebook, Snapchat, it really helps to concentrate what you're actually learning and get your brain to hone in on that stuff. So I would recommend that if you can do it, if you find that works for you. If not, just do trial and error, see how that goes.
So do you personally study with friends, or do you prefer the quiet?
I prefer both. So I think
Okay.
for the most part, I like to study by myself.
Okay.
What I usually do is I'll start reading the material. Like I'll start about a week before the exam. I'll read the material over again, see what I have questions on, start learning it. I also like to do that before I go to sleep because I think
Yes.
it reinforces it. Like when I go to sleep, like sometimes
It
unfortunately,
stays in your memory if
Yeah.
you look at it right before you go to
Yeah,
bed.
exactly.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's unfortunate, but I'll have dreams where I'm like going over like a biochemistry problem, and I'll wake up and I'll be like, "What was I doing?" But somehow it works out in my head. So I like to study, by myself at first, get the concepts down, and then when I find something that I'm not sure about this, or I wonder if someone else knows. I'll see my friend. Like sometimes my roommates are in my classes with me, and I'll say, hey, like are you sure what they were saying about this, or like what they mean, or maybe they were saying something and I didn't catch all of it, so I'm like, do you have it written down? So kind of talk. I feel like for me personally, I try to learn what I can, and then I bounce ideas off of other people once I have that foundation going, and I find that helps because even when you just talk and repeat it, you're actually kind of building it up and reinforcing it. So I think both are good, and just find what works for you. Just make sure, if you're talking to your friends, that you're trying to stay focused on the material.
Not about Facebook.
Yeah. So, no Facebook, no Snapchat. Just try to focus on, what it is, and it can really be really beneficial.
Oh, that's wonderful. So now, big question. I've gotten this question a lot. How do you study for a class you do not like?
Okay. So that is challenging.
Challenging.
It really is.
Yes.
And I've definitely had a few courses like this. But I say the best method to do is, I personally, I love being able to see that I've succeeded in a class. I love that feeling.
Yeah.
So what I try to do is think about something in that class, whatever class it may be, something that you like or that you can apply. Just try to find something, even if it's hard.